Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment from KQED. Every week, Snap drops you inside someone's biggest decision. The kind of decision you can only make once. With everything on the line, what do you believe? What do you want? And what would you risk to get it? Find out. Tap to listen now to Snap Judgment from KQED on Spotify.
Welcome to Crime Besties. We are here for another episode. How is everyone? And more importantly, how are you, Meg?
I'm good, thanks. It's been a great week. How about you?
I've had a really good week as well. I did have a bit of, I was a bit unwell earlier in the week. It was actually for almost a week, honestly. I just was
not yourself.
Not good. But I feel today I've woken up and I'm like, I'm back. I'm okay. I had a really decent night's sleep last night, which is so unusual for me. I think I pretty much slept through the night. I did wake up at like 4:30 for the day.
Yeah.
But I slept through the night. So I'm like, that's actually a bit of a win.
So in my mind, you woke up in the middle of the night.
If I were you, yes. Yeah. But I went to sleep probably at about 10 last night.
It's only halfway through my rewatch of Vanderpump Rules.
My rewatch. Oh, I absolutely love it. Just a really quick warning. I am expecting a couple of parcels today. So if there's
shocked.
If you hear the doorbell in the background, that's all it is, guys.
It must be something in the air because I've been on the bandwagon of online shopping lately too.
It's because everyone's like got these after payday sales, and I've been looking at things and I'm like, all right, well, it's on special now, so I'm going to buy it. I hate paying full price for anything.
I've actually been like, I got given as a Frisco, I think the brand is, like coffee travel mug right at work for a gift, and I just am obsessed with it. It's the first coffee like travel mug that actually keeps your coffee hot, like for so freaking long. And in my office, I'm a shocker. I make my coffee. I've got a great coffee machine, and then I put it in my office. And as soon as I sit down, someone needs me.
Yep.
And so then I'm not back in my office like half an hour potentially. That coffee will still be fucking hot.
Piping hot.
I love it.
I've got a Yeti cup, so I did have a Frank Green one, which it does keep your coffee hot, but God, it's a pain in the ass to clean.
So this is the other thing. It's the easiest freaking thing to clean.
Well, that's why I got this Yeti one, because it's got this magnetic thing, so you just take the magnet off and you can wash the whole thing can go in the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah, love that. Yeah, this goes in the dishwasher too.
I have seen those ones around everywhere. So many people have them, so they must be good.
They're good. But I've been like, I want one for home, like kind of thing. And like they're not cheap, but they're not ridiculously expensive either. But I keep looking at them going, I'm not paying full price.
Oh God, no! I'll wait for that to come on. Yeah, because you can wait for things like that.
This is it. And so I've been waiting for it to go on special or whatever. And at one point it came down to 20% off, but then wherever I was looking at it, the shipping of it was stupid. Like it was like more than what it was the 20% that you were taking off, whatever. And I'm like, no, bugger you. Like it'll be better than that at some point. I've been waiting and waiting, and it popped up. You buy one of the 12-ounce ones and you get an 8 ounce for free.
Oh.
Done. Purchased.
Love it. What colour did you go?
Oh, well, actually, the colour I really wanted wasn't available.
Was that the olive green?
It was emerald.
Emerald.
It's a really good emerald. Like it's a
deep emerald.
It's similar to background of us.
Okay.
Like green, and that which doesn't show up on our video as good as it is. Like
no,
it's that kind of colour.
Beautiful,
really nice. And then I think so I got navy blue because that wasn't available.
I do love a navy.
Yeah, I love a navy. And then I don't know what colour I get. I think it's a bit random what you get with the smaller size.
Cool.
So I'm hoping for like the reddy burgundy one to go with the navy.
Yes,
because not that I'm going to carry them both at the same time.
But
although the 8 ounce is probably going to be the Negroni at the football. So maybe
something that goes with the footy team colours.
Ew. I need the Poon wee one for that then.
Oh, one of those. Oh, yeah, right. Well, chocolate's very in at the moment. Maybe you will get that.
Maybe the Hawthorn will go. Yeah.
Love it. Love
yeah,
it.
but it's always like it's such a thing though, isn't it? Oh, there's so many things on the list of, I'm going to get that when it's on special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got a handbag on when I'm watching for that too.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I was at basketball training last week actually, and one of the mums on there was telling me about how she has her Amazon Kindle list,
right?
And every day Kindle will put certain books on special where you can, I didn't know this, where you can buy them for like $2 or $3.
Oh, okay.
And so she has this massive list. I think she's got like 130 books in there, because anytime she thinks of one, she adds it to that list.
Yeah.
And every morning before she gets out of bed, she checks the list to see if any of them are on special.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's never had to pay full price for a book. So, of course, now I'm obsessed with that.
Yes.
I've been adding all the books that I want to read to my Kindle list.
Yeah.
And then when they come on special, buy.
Done, buy.
$3. Some of them are $2. Some of them are like $1.99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So with Kindle, with that, once you've purchased it, you own it for life?
Yeah.
Like it's not a...
No.
Yeah,
No,
right.
you have it forever.
Then yeah, so it doesn't matter if you're actually due to read, like as in you're looking for one at that point.
Yeah.
It goes into your library and
Yeah, and
read
that's
it when
right.
you're ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yes. So
Love
pro tip
that.
for anyone who's not done that, I didn't even think to do that.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I find like Audible and stuff like that, because I'm more of an audio reader.
Yeah.
And I find they can be bloody expensive.
They can be. But then, look,
Yeah.
I don't mind paying, like to me, if you're paying, and even on a Kindle, I'm happy to pay $15 or $16 for a
totally.
book, because I think the author's work all the time, everything that's gone into that, I'm happy to
Yes.
support the authors in that way. But then for some of these older books that, have been around for a long time, they've made their money. If I can get one for a few bucks, I will.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I know. I love that. I have to
Yes.
get onto that a little bit.
Yes.
Oh.
I do have a book recommendation if you want one that I've just finished reading.
Yes.
Yesteryear.
Oh.
It's actually really good. So it's sort of like, it's along the lines of like Tradwife. It goes back and forth in time.
Okay.
Which to me, I'm like, oh, well, am I even going to like this when I read it? But
Yeah.
a few people recommended it to me, and I'm like, oh, look, I'll give it a go. I was looking for something to read at the time. It's by
Yeah.
Caro Claire Burke.
Yep.
And it was such an easy read, but entertaining, and
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed the story. So
Oh,
if you're
okay.
looking for one, go for it. I think it won like the Sunday Times bestseller list or something like
Yeah,
that. It's been
right.
really, really popular. But
Yeah.
yeah, very, very good.
Get
really
onto
enjoyed
it.
that one.
I will have a look at that.
Yeah, speaking of other things, we have been part of these like wine clubs. You might be surprised to hear this.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Like,
And so we've had a wine subscription through this place called Bondar before. So we've joined this other wine club, and it's called Killer Plonk, Killa Plonk.
I
And
love that.
I think you get a box of 6 wines maybe, and it's just a random assortment every 2 months.
Oh, so you don't have to go in and select them?
No. They send it
I
to you.
love that, because I'm terrible at like selecting them. I would take forever making those decisions.
Same. And also, I would always kind of choose the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
And so, yeah, I have been so impressed by this. There has not been a wine in there that I did not enjoy.
Right.
And also, we get a mixed bag. So I think that means you get a couple of reds, maybe a few whites. There's a sparkling maybe and a rosé.
Yeah.
Oh my God, absolutely amazing.
That's so good.
And like some of the vineyards I'd never heard of, but then we also got like a Zonzo one in there, or you know, so really nice. Definitely check it out if you're looking for a wine subscription.
On it.
Yep.
Killer Plonk.
Killa Plonk.
Great
Give it
name.
a go. I know, I love the name. Really good. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today, another recommendation. I don't know why this week's the week of recommendations, but have you been watching the new season of Colin from Accounts?
No, I'm saving it up because I know that I will
It's
just
week
binge.
by week and it's
I
like,
know.
oh.
I'm going to want to binge, and so I'm just holding out, and holding out.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You are going to be so delighted.
I really loved the first couple of seasons of it. I've just obsessed.
Well, this is not disappointing.
Do you follow her on Instagram?
I just friggin' love her.
Did you
She's
see
so
that clip
down
she
to
did of
earth.
like, because he was in Devil's Wears Prada too.
Yeah.
And then and there was that clip of her where he like says, you know, oh, I just love Anne Hathaway, you know,
Yeah.
and then she compliments him back in an interview.
Yeah.
And then she's like sitting there watching it on TV at home with, you know, around the kids.
the
or
two
like,
kids,
you know,
and then she's looking like all dishevelled. And
at me.
I can't believe you don't think that about me.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They're both so talented. I
So
just
talented.
love them
He
both.
is gorgeous. I mean, she's gorgeous too.
He's definitely like a, salt and pepper, just schmick.
Oh, absolutely.
And a good sense of humour to boot.
I know. The whole package.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Love him. Love him. Love them. Love them as a couple. They're great.
They are amazing.
Yeah, get onto it. I can't now wait for you to watch it so we can talk about it.
Yes. Because I've still got a few weeks to go to wait. I'm like, I'm holding out.
Well, I think at the time of recording now, only 4 episodes have been released. So you've still got a little while to go.
Probably. I'm like, I can't do this week to week thing.
Yep.
I don't mind getting there, like, say, early, like, where I can maybe, whilst I'm watching, I catch up kind of thing of like, like the week I finish and then I've got a week and then I can watch the last episode or something. Like, but I'm like, no, hold out.
Hold out. Yeah, hold out, because we were holding out.
Yes.
And then we had the 4 episodes and we had to watch them all in one go.
Yeah.
So now we've got to wait week to week, and I'm like,
nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's why I've gone back on at the moment rewatching Vanderpump Rules. Because I started watching House of Stacy.
Oh, yeah.
And did the whole this is reminding me of all like her classic comments like, I am the devil.
Yeah.
Don't you forget it.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. So I went back and rewatched, going back to season 1. And
you went back to season 1.
And it's, to be honest, watching it now with like, I don't know, that little bit more maturity on myself, like kind of thing as well, that you just kind of go, fuck me. And oh, Jesus. You see it from slightly different perspectives too, I think, now with knowing the valley and where they've come to.
Yeah,
and
right.
Like, because, oh, man, it's such a shit show.
Oh, it's such a shit show.
It was a shit show when I watched it, but now it's just kind of like, wow, the level of toxicity that each of them have.
Oh, yeah, they're all equally as guilty in that arena.
Because even like my favourite being like Schwartz.
Yep.
I mean, when you look back at him, even like of just how much of a fucking golden retriever he was, and is to this day, but he was toxic golden retriever. Like that. Come on, man, get off your ass and defend your girlfriend, or it's interesting watching it now.
The dynamics,
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for Salt Lake City's come out?
No.
Yeah.
How long is that? How far away is that?
I think it's like mid-September, so it's not really that far away.
God,
actually, it might even be early September.
Bring it.
I know. I cannot wait.
Oh, I'm hanging for it.
Lisa Barlow. Fuck.
That woman.
And Mary's in it, which I was a little bit surprised by.
Yeah, I thought she might step away with everything that's gone on for her. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that sort of, I'm sure it gets mentioned.
I'm sure. Now that we've spoken about it, our phones will have heard about it, and I'm sure the algorithm will throw you
will bring me what I need.
Yeah, we'll throw you what you need. That's right, to get you up to speed on the Salt Lake City Housewives.
Totally. Oh, wow.
Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, I've actually refrained from talking to you about this during the week.
I love this, that we do this to each other.
We've got a media blackout. We can't talk about anything that we need to then discuss on the podcast. It has to be fresh. Lindsay Clancy's lawyer, Kevin Reddington. Do we not love that man?
He is so good. And why have we not heard about him before?
I know.
Wow.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
I actually had a bit of a tear this week because there's been some absolutely harrowing testimony. Yes. I mean, there always is, but there was, in particular, they were talking about Cora. There was some testimony about Cora. And Lindsay was very visibly distraught. Like they ended up having to actually pause the proceedings for a little bit so that Lindsay could regain her composure. Oh, and he was holding her hand. Oh,
yeah.
He has so much empathy and care. And even though we're at the point now on recording day today that he hasn't even had a chance to present his case yet, so it's all been the prosecution presenting and him obviously rebutting their witnesses and whatever. Yeah. But even the way he does that, you can just tell he gets it.
Oh,
like he's an old white man.
Yeah, like this is it. That's what impresses me.
Like, but he has so much empathy. He gets it. He's got so much care, and oh my God,
it was actually Fadan. If Fadan talk, if you get onto TikTok with her, she's a lawyer from Sydney, family law. But she commented this week about the fact, and it's particularly relating to the testimony by the psychiatrist that he is cross-examining.
Yeah.
And she was saying, like, as a lawyer, what he does in that process basically should be taught in law school. Like the way he goes about breaking it down, the fact that he gave her own notes and wanted her to read them out loud to then call her out on some of her notes and things is like such an amazing technique to go like, they're your words, you wrote them, you're now speaking them, but now you're rebutting them and saying that's not what you meant.
I found her so
irritating.
frustrating and irritating. I was like,
because what Fadan was then saying was, if you're also wanting to learn how to be a witness, don't do what she did, because she argues with him and like kind of thing. That just made it actually, it's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
So she's saying from both perspectives, like from
he's done
parties,
all the right things.
He had a plan of like making her do that, and that's, she's fallen into it, and she's fought him, and it makes her look.
But then you look at the
worse.
Nurses, like in particular, one of the nurses, the ICU nurse who was looking after Lindsay. I think she was on like the 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift for 3 or 4 days while Lindsay was in ICU. She was incredible on the stand.
Yeah.
And I've heard like commentary about her that she, she is what she was as a witness was perfection. She answered the questions. She wasn't flustered. I mean, I could imagine people getting flustered in that situation. That's just a normal human response.
It's not a normal situation to be in.
No.
So, I mean, and this is the thing when you think about these trials, they're regular humans who, go about their day, who have then got to testify in court.
Yes.
Walking into that kind of environment is very unnerving.
Yeah.
So regardless of who you are, you're already not in the right frame of mind to be ask pretty serious questions, but also consequential. Like, that your statements of what you put on that stand can mean, the difference between someone being guilty or innocent, found guilty or innocent. So it's a huge amount of pressure.
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Oh, anyway, we'll see how this all plays out.
Totally. I mean, everyone's got their opinions, it seems. Interesting. We'll just say.
Yeah, we will cover this case at some point for sure.
Yeah.
I think there'll be documentaries made. There'll be lots going on there.
Well, I actually hope that it sparks so much conversation.
Well, I feel like it already has.
But not the conversation I want it to be.
Yeah,
I want the conversation to be around. I don't think. I'm hoping that no, regardless of, because the outcome is okay. This is where I think people need to really understand. The outcome is that she is guilty.
Yeah,
it's whether or not she was in psychosis state, and therefore, what's the term they're using? Because it's
culpable.
Not whether she's culpable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's whether or not the consequence is going to be treatment or prison.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
right.
Is that, I'm right in that?
You're right in that. So
yeah.
She's not. Like,
we're not on trial here for innocent or guilty.
No, we're not.
That's not what this is about. And I think people are forgetting that.
Well, the agreed fact of the case is that she murdered those children.
Yes.
What's in dispute is, whether she was in a state of psychosis at the time and therefore not culpable. If that's found to be the case, she will still be going to a mental health institution for the rest of her life, probably.
Yes.
If she's found guilty, obviously she'll be placed in prison. But regardless, she's not going to walk. Well,
she's not walking away from this. Yeah,
no, she's not.
And she's. That's...
You can tell she's already suffering the consequences of this, being that we're a few years post the absolute tragedy of it all, and obviously she's been able to seek treatment in that time too.
Yes.
So she's not in the depths of that postpartum psychosis. So I feel for her in a lot of ways, because I obviously have my opinion of what I think happened. But I feel for her because I'm like, she's now having to look at all of this and with a different brain chemistry.
Yeah. Yep.
Be like, oh my God, what the fuck have I mean, she knows what she's done, but to have to see it all and relive it all, I think, it's unprecedented almost in the way that these things
This is
go.
it. So I'm hoping that it sparks then conversations around postpartum depression, psychosis, all those things, and more research into these things and more support into these systems.
More support. But then the other thing is, like, a lot of the expert testimony has shown that it's possible that this was actually an unavoidable thing. And there are women in postpartum psychosis who are institutionalized who still manage to commit suicide and that kind of thing. Like there's at some point where there's a will, there's a way.
But that's where I think the research needs to occur.
That's right.
So that we can find treatments
or how to treat properly and how to protect these women. Yeah.
And that way at least these babies have not died in vain.
Yeah.
If that's the only positive outcome of this is that it prevents further from this occurring for other families.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I hope comes of it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but we'll get into it another day, won't
Yeah,
we?
for sure. For sure. All right, I've got shout-outs for today.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we haven't done that yet.
We have new Patreons, Kate Helly Wright, Lauren Malavatsos, Danielle, whose little boy is in hospital at the moment, so she joined our Patreon so that she had extra stuff to listen to. He is the most... She popped a photo of him in our Patreon chat.
What a
He is the cutest little thing. I just hope he's better already and everything's okay. I hope you're home and
everything's
all
going well.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we had Smudgy07, who has been a very long time follower of us. We see all your comments, everything.
Do.
So thank you very much for joining. And then we have Riley. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We've had coffees bought for us this week by Emma L. and Kaya. Kaya said that she listens to us through Apple Podcasts, and it just came up as like one of those, you know how Apple will they'll play the next episode, and she's like, oh, I like the sound of these too. So, well, who doesn't? Actually, a lot of people don't, but
they like to tell us.
Yeah.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment, the award-winning storytelling podcast from KQED. Every week, Snap deals a new card, like the girl whose sister was a monkey, or the man who lived in the woods for 30 years, or even the woman who snuck her lover out of prison in a dog crate. Pick a card, any card. Tap to listen now to Snap Judgment from KQED on Spotify.
But welcome, Kaya, and thank you very much for the generous coffees you bought us. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are we ready to get into today's case?
Let's get into this one.
I think we should. So today we are discussing the murder of Lilie James. Now, when we were discussing the case that we were doing this week, I actually didn't link Lilie's name. I knew Lilie's name.
Yep.
I'd heard it. I didn't link it with this crime.
Right.
So, yeah, looking into this, I mean, I remember this, obviously, this happening once we got into it. But I was like, oh, that's her. You know, it was one of those kind of situations. And I think one of the things that we like about our podcast is the fact that we can bring remembrance to these people, and I think for me that was a big thing about this week's episode is like remembering her for who she was and how amazing she was, and we will get to all of this obviously, and how much she's missed by her family, and all of the circumstances that, like, I guess, and the themes that are brought up in and around her death. So let's get into it. So Lilie was born on the 21st of May in 2002 in Sanssouci, New South Wales. She was born to her parents, Jamie and Peter James. She had a younger brother.
Let's just get over it to begin with, though, that his name is Jamie James.
Oh, it is too.
Brad Bradley.
Yeah. My dad went to school with an Evan Evans. I probably said that in the Brad Bradley episode, did I? And Kate Langbrook's son, Lewis.
Yeah, that. Yes. What?
Oh yeah. You know that actually had not.
It hadn't registered with your research
with me. Nah.
No, because every time I read his name, I was
Jamie James.
Like, oh my god.
I guess at least he goes by Jamie and not James.
Yep. And look, and
Jim
I kept, because at one point I was like, when I was reading things, it didn't just differentiate that Jamie was necessarily, because Jamie can be a boy's name or a girl's name, you know, kind of scenario.
And with the mum's name's Peter.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That I was like, okay, like, oh, Jamie might be mum, you know, kind of thing. And then she's married someone who just happened to have the last name James, you know.
Yeah.
Which, okay, then I will be like, oh,
can come at that, yeah.
But then when I was like, no, that's Dad. I was like, oh, Jesus, yeah. So he's been Jamie James his entire life. Yeah.
Jimmy James.
Jimmy James. Jim.
So they were a very close-knit family, really loving relationship, you know, between all of them. When So Lily graduated from Danebank Anglican School in Hurstville in 2020. So shit year to be doing year 12. Isn't it?
Oh, that would have sucked.
That would have absolutely sucked because they missed out on all of the awesome stuff that comes with being in year 12.
Like all your positive things about year 12.
Like your formal and like mess up week and all the fun stuff that comes with being in year 12.
Being with everyone, you know.
And your friends are so important to you when you're that age, and they just didn't get access in the same way to their friends.
Or their teachers to do their study. Like, you know, the access to them would have been all online rather than in person. So it would have absolutely sucked. I feel for all those kids. Well, equally for the prep students, as you had one, as those that were in year 12.
Prep 2020.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and don't those problems persist to today? That's, again, a topic for another day.
Oh, yeah.
When she was at high school, she loved dance, drama, sport, and she was really good at all of them. Like, she was one of those people who just had a natural talent. I think oftentimes you'll find that kids are either talented sort of dance, music, drama or sport, but she kind of had both going on for her.
Yes.
She had a really close group of friends and they remained her friends throughout university and up until like literally this day, her group of friends still catch up with her mum and dad and so they are still very much involved in Lily's family life.
And because the school she went to as well was one of those schools where you enter, like she entered in kindergarten and she went right the way through to year 12.
Yeah.
So
they were together for a very long time.
There would have been those stayers that she had all the way through, and then the ones that would have joined, you know, at those peak times throughout those periods, you know, year 7 entry or, you know, year 5 is another big entry point for families, you know, at those schools. Yep. So yeah, I mean, she's been a stayer, let's say, you know. Yeah, so she's been with those people a long time. Yeah.
She came second at an Eisteddfod reciting a monologue from Macbeth, and in alongside that at the school they had a photo of her doing that monologue, and then they had a little piece that was written by her explaining what it was. And so I'll read that out.
Oh, yeah.
She said, "I love creating pieces through physicality, and I like how it conveys a character's journey through movement rather than just speaking and relying on the dialogue and expression alone. I feel that Lady Macbeth reflects my dramatic side as well. It matches my personality and my style." I love that. I feel like that's a very year 12 thing to write.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, gosh.
She was also a champion swimmer outside of school, and the club that she belonged to, she was their club champion when they did their championship race days and that kind of thing.
Yes.
And because she was such a proficient swimmer and really good at sport as well, she kind of naturally then transitioned to water polo.
Yeah.
And was really proficient in that as well. And it was a sport she really enjoyed.
It's we've talked about water polo before on this podcast with another episode.
The Kelly Lane episode, yeah.
It's a very physical sport, you know, and that, you know, we've talked about how rough it can get underwater, and you've got to be physically so strong to be a water polo player. I mean, to be able to, you know, swim at that strength, but also be able to battle off other people.
And
it's
even
quite
just
an impressive
to tread
sport.
water and like to be able to manipulate your body in that space, like tough going.
And I mean, because to get themselves out of the water to then throw it and stuff,
Yes.
the amount of
that's amazing
power that takes is huge. So yeah, it's not a sport for everyone, and you have to be very, very good to be able to get to levels, particularly where she was you know, at. So yeah, she was impressive.
Very impressive young lady. She went on to study a Bachelor of Sports Management at the University of Technology in Sydney, or UTS, and she was due to finish that degree the year that she was murdered. So she was very almost done.
Months away from finishing her degree.
Literally months away. So while she was studying, she was so efficient in the way she ran her life. And I love a bit of efficiency. This really tickled my fancy.
Love that.
While she was studying, she was actually working full-time as well.
Yes.
And this was around her study commitments. So the full-time job that she had, she was working at St Andrew's Cathedral School in Sydney's CBD.
Yeah.
Now, she worked as a sports assistant there. So what that meant was she helped with like setting up all of the sports equipment and everything they needed before and after school. She helped with before and after school
like programs and coach.
She wasn't a coach at that point. She was actually employed separately as a coach.
Yeah.
So she not only did she work full time as this sports assistant, she'd do a few hours in the morning and the rest of the hours in the afternoon and evening after she'd been studying all day.
Yes.
She then also took on an extra casual job as a water polo coach for the
netball
school.
Coach,
and netball was it? Oh my God. Oh. Where did she find the time, honestly?
I know. But that's what she loved it so much. It wouldn't have felt like work to her, I don't reckon, you know?
Yeah.
I think she was it was her passion.
It was her passion.
Yeah.
So her group of friends, I guess, at this point had expanded to not only the friends that she went to school with, but that she then had her uni classmates who she was really good friends with. And because she was sort of really starting to establish herself on staff at St Andrews, she was making a really good group of friends there too. So she had a really diverse social circle and was really well liked by everyone. She was a friendly, bubbly kind of person who everyone wanted to be around.
Yeah.
She was described by her friends as gregarious, outgoing, social, confident, enthusiastic. Apparently, the way she engaged with students was second to none. So at St Andrews, they had primary school students right through to secondary school, and she would relate to the primary school kids just as easily and just as well as to the secondary school kids who were probably, closer to her in age, but it didn't matter. She just loved interacting with the kids at any point there.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so we need to introduce the second character into this story, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
A man by the name of Paul Thomas Stephen Tyson. He was born on the 13th of November in 1999, so he was actually 23 at the time of this absolute tragedy.
Yeah.
He was born in the Netherlands and was an only child to his parents Esther and Stefan. I have opinions about them that we will be discussing later.
Yes.
He came to Australia when he was 15 years of age because his dad came over here for work.
Yes.
And once he finished, so he attended St Andrews as a student at that point.
Which I think in a lot of the media, particularly at the time, people believed that both Lily and Paul attended St Andrews. No, they attended different secondary schools. They did not know each other prior to working at St Andrews.
No.
Whereas, so Paul, he started working there. He started in school there at year 10. Actually, it was term 3, year 10 he entered.
Yeah.
So he went to St Andrews. Now, we're talking St Andrews School, we should probably say, just to give a context of his family then and Lily's as well, the school she went to was equally, I think, in terms of prestige.
Definitely.
Their schools were very similar. But St Andrews is a very prestigious school. So as we say, Lily attended her school from kindergarten through to year 12. I think similarly, Paul did the same across from the Netherlands to then moving to Australia to attend St Andrews. Now, I looked up just like amounts of money it costs to send kids to this school just to get an understanding of what it takes. So kindergarten entry is like $25,000 a year, up to year 12 going into the $45,000 a year kind of fees.
So elite.
It's elite. It's not. It is an elite private school.
Yep.
Not everyone has the opportunities to attend a school like this. This is it's a very good private school in Sydney, and it's literally in the CBD.
Yes.
Like, it's really central to Sydney.
Yeah.
I think apparently it's very picturesque. And you're talking harbour, kind of not long from the harbour and all that kind of thing. So it's a very beautiful school, very affluent school. Mm-hmm. Yeah, facilities beyond.
Oh, second to none.
Yeah.
You just look at some photos and you're like, wow.
Yeah, yes.
Right, I see what these schools are like from the outside in.
Yes.
So once he finished year 12 at the school, he then went on to work as a sports assistant there as well.
They called it like a year 13 for him. The school seemed to keep him on to say, like, already at the school, he'd been a school sports captain during his year 12.
Yep.
So he was a very good hockey player, and what was his other sport? They had one other sport, cricket. He was very good at cricket. So he was established at the school and had, good groups of friends around him, but he was known as being so good at sport that the school said, you can stay on and continue and you can work and, help coach these teams and things that he's been working with.
Okay. I think part of that though was because his parents had returned to the Netherlands at this point.
Yes.
So, and he stayed there
he was seeing out his year 12.
Yeah.
I think, because I don't know exactly what point his parents moved back to the Netherlands.
I believe it was towards the end of his year 12 year.
Yeah, it was
so I actually don't even know that
year.
They were here for his final exams or anything.
Yeah, this is it. That's where I think that decision was kind of like, you need to see this out, but we've got to go back. So you stay and finish year 12. But then the school were like, well, if you want to stay longer, we can help you with that, because visas would be an issue right? Because they were here, I'm assuming at that age, he was here on his dad's working visa as a family.
But he'd turned 18.
He turned 18. So he could only stay if he was on a working visa or a holiday visa or varying different visas that for him. So he'd be separate to his parents at that point once he'd finished school. How would he stay? And I think the school were like, well, if you do want to stay, we'll give you this role and we can potentially then look at you being here on a working visa.
Yeah. He lived in a share house that was really close to the school.
Yes.
And sort of rented a room in a share house with, I think, were there two other
It just said a share house. I didn't really see how many were in the house.
I'm just thinking back to the court transcripts. I think there were two others living in. Yeah, actually, no, definitely two others.
Two?
Yep, two other blokes living in that house.
There was a female as well, I'm sure, that was mentioned that was spoken about as being a housemaid as well.
Oh, okay. Maybe there was one female and one male then.
Might have been, because I do know, because I remember reading something about him chatting with someone at a cafe with his housemate. And it was female. It wasn't. It was just sort of said. She said, and I was like, okay. Right. So one of the housemates was female.
Yep.
Because I found that interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
In September of 2018, he decided to return to the Netherlands to study business economics at university, which apparently, according to everybody who knew him, that was something that he'd always aspired to. That was kind of the degree that he was looking at doing anyway.
Yeah.
But he returned to Sydney in 2020 and continued his studies remotely from the Netherlands. So he was still enrolled in the university in the Netherlands, but he was studying remotely from Australia. He contacted St Andrews and asked them whether they had any positions available because he enjoyed doing that sports assistant position. I guess that was an easy thing for him to be able to step back into.
Great contact to go straight to,
Yeah, and they did re-employ him as a sports assistant at that time.
Was that when? That was when he was working with, he actually didn't work at the school. He worked with their outdoor education program.
Okay.
Which was at this Kiriki Outdoor Education Centre.
No, so that happened after.
Was that after? I thought it was during COVID.
It was during COVID.
Okay.
So he was re-employed as a sports assistant and then the world imploded.
Yes.
And
then they shifted him to there.
They shipped him off there because there was nothing for him to do at the school at St Andrews in the city.
Yeah.
But they had this rural property. And what that actually meant was that he was actually able to get his working visa, tick off you know how they have to work in a remote setting for a certain amount of hours. They were able, because they were cattle on this property that was owned by the school for this outdoor education stuff, they were able to put on his paperwork that he was a farmhand, and that they did. Okay. And that satisfied the visa requirements.
Okay.
For this bit.
This bit.
This is for the initial bit. It does change later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point he's on a working holiday visa.
Working holiday visa.
Yes.
That's right. Which is like what all the British people come out here on and have to go and work fruit picking and that kind of thing to satisfy their visa requirements.
Yes.
He was able to get around that.
So is that number one?
That's number one.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
It all comes to place.
It all comes to pass.
Please, we'll get there.
Yeah. So Lilie actually commenced her role at St Andrews on the 24th of January in 2023. So Paul took on the same role in the February of that year. So that's when they met for the first time.
Yeah.
So Lilie had been working there for a little bit and then they employed Paul into that.
So
back
he'd already,
that sports
I guess,
assistant
had
role.
connections at the school. He was coming back to a role there. So he was like probably a little bit more, even though he started after her technically at this point, he was already established on staff a little bit more, I guess, had knowledge of the school more.
And he'd already been doing the role.
Yes. It wasn't like she was already there and then he arrived and she was like, oh, I'll show you the ropes kind of stuff. He was already entrenched more, even though he came later.
That's a really fair point and potentially pertinent.
Yeah. I feel like it sort of helps a little bit with his understanding of the situation.
Yeah. So on top of being a sports assistant, he also worked as an after-hours concierge. Now, what kind of school needs an after-hours concierge? An elite private school in CBD. So this means that if anything was needed out of hours by anyone, so members of the faculty or even parents, that kind of thing, who needed access or needed something, they contacted this out-of-hours concierge. Because of that role, he had swipe card or key access to every building within the school.
Yeah.
And which, there was sort of different ways of accessing different buildings, but he had full and utter access to the entire building.
Yeah.
suite because of that role. Whereas other staff wouldn't necessarily have that. They wouldn't need to have access
to their own
the bits
faculty
that they needed to have access to.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it is a big school. Like when you look at the footprint of the school on Google Maps, you're like, oh yeah, this is big.
Big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the 1st of September in 2023, the St Andrews Winter Sport Dinner was held at Dalton House, and because Paul was part of this concierge, it was his job and the other people who did that job. It was their job to set up this dinner, and it was just a way for everybody, all the sports staff, to get together and have a social event midwinter. That was the idea. Start of spring, I think it was, to sort of celebrate all of that. All of the sports staff, including Lilie, attended the dinner, and apparently it was a really lovely evening. Everyone had a good time. There was, a few wines had over dinner. Mm-hmm. But then after the dinner, Paul, Lilie and several other staff members went to Bungalow 8 and then to Cargo Bar, so 2 bars that were very close by to where they had dinner. It was within walking distance. And Paul and Lilie were seen together by everyone at the dinner, and then the people who then went on to go out with them afterwards, they were spending a lot of time together that night.
Well, even prior to September 1st, to be honest, their relationship, unbeknownst to anyone else, began more about mid-August.
Okay.
But this was the first time that they kind of displayed it publicly in some way. There was things prior.
Do you know how they kind of that came to be? I didn't really see much about that.
No, because it was just like it was between the two of them. There was friends that have kind of commented around, that they knew Lilie had said things like, oh, I think I like him, he's like, we're chatting and things like that. So there was definitely casual relationship starts more like mid-August.
Okay.
But 1st of September is kind of like where they sort of say officially, and I don't want to say that they officially started dating or anything like that, because that really kind of never happened.
No.
But it's when that became a little bit more public that there was something happening here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there was talking and all sorts of, and potentially even cafe meetups. Okay. You know what I mean? Like happening pre 1st of September. Yeah, okay. There was a bit more to their friendship.
Just spending a bit more time together or whatever.
Yeah. So as much as like the 1st of September is kind of the point where most people speak about it, being like, oh, they might be having
There is so much NFL on ESPN right now. Monday Night Football, plus pregame and postgame. NFL Live, NFL Primetime. Everything you need to stay on top of every game, every week.
Unbelievable.
And now NFL Network is on the ESPN app. More football, more coverage, more ways to watch. Football's on all season long on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Bit of a thing. It did sort of probably start a bit earlier than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On that night, though, on the 1st of September, Lilie did spend the night at Paul's. And, I guess officially maybe, or as you say, it's not even official because they never – it's like the false start of relationships, to be honest. But
we're talking it's a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old.
Yeah, it's nothing serious. Like they're just sort of testing the waters and seeing – well, one of them was seeing how things are going.
Yeah.
But as you said, this is when other members of the faculty witnessed.
Other people knew that there was something happening between the two of them, what it was. Like, it hadn't been labelled. It wasn't, any of that.
Yeah.
But it was, these two might be into each other.
Yeah.
Like,
and they saw each other every day at school. So I guess they had a lot of like daily interactions.
Yeah.
And then the September school holidays happened. And during that school holidays, we know that they were messaging each other a lot, and they were spending time together. They were doing cafe dates and that kind of thing. I think they went for a couple of walks together.
Yep.
And that kind of thing. I don't know how I couldn't find at this point in their relationship, I couldn't find how frequent the contact was. But anecdotally, I know the housemate said that he felt like it was like daily messaging, if not more.
Yep.
So I mean, when you're in a new thing, that's to me seems pretty normal.
Pretty normal.
Yeah, pretty average.
Especially when they were working together, like they were used to spending that amount of time together of every day.
Yeah.
To then go to, like, we're not seeing each other each day, but to message each other seems
that's
pretty
fair.
normal to me.
Yeah, I agree. On the 3rd of October, they went for a walk along Diamond Bay Reserve and they FaceTimed Paul's parents. Now, again, I don't know that Lilie knew that was happening. Is that the impression you got?
Definitely the impression I got. It was more like, we're here. I'm going to call my parents.
Because she didn't even want to be
look
in
who's
the
with
frame.
me. And I'm here with. Because prior to that, there had been a photo of. And it was just at a casual event.
Yeah.
As you post things on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah.
But he had directly sent this photo with Lilie in it and himself. And there were others in the photo.
I think there was one other person in the photo, yeah.
And he'd sent that to his parents. And I feel like, and I can't remember the exact wording of the message with it, but it was something along the lines of, and that's Lilie, like, that pointing her out so they knew what she looked like and that she was someone who was on the scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They also met up with Lilie's friend during these school holidays. She lived in Crisbang Crescent in Vaucluse, stunning part of the world.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The amount of money you need to live there.
Oh, dear.
I need to win that 20 million that was in the Powerball this week.
Yes.
Then I may still not be able to afford a place.
I was about to say, then you might get an apartment in Vaucluse. One bedroom?
One bedroom, maybe.
Like an absolutely stunning part of the world. It's just beautiful. And the houses there are beautiful in equal measure.
Yeah.
So there are mixed accounts from friends as to the seriousness of their relationship, and it depends on whether you're kind of talking to Paul's friends or whether you're talking to Lilie's friends.
I think at this point too in their relationship, we should mention that I think it was around about the 4th of October, somewhere between sort of the 4th and the 15th, we know for sure, but I think it was closer to sort of around the 4th of October. Paul had asked Lilie for her Snapchat location to be turned on, and that he should have access to that. Now, he used this kind of line with her of like saying that it was so he'd know that she'd got home safe. Like, so it was taken, I think, at the time by Lilie of like, okay, well, maybe he just wants to know that I'm home safe, like not checking where I am.
She took it completely innocently, and I can understand why.
Totally. So he had access to where she was at all times. So just a word of warning, if your kids are using Snapchat or teens or young adults, location on Snapchat is a real issue, I find. I just don't like it.
Massive. But the kids all do it. They all know where all their friends are. They know what, it's a lot. So and it's
like my family they have like my brother and his family use 360, right? Mm-hmm. They've got a teenage daughter, and she trains and trams and things to school. So totally get it.
Safety.
But they've added my mum to it, right? And my mum's always like, she goes, oh, I feel so weird. Like she goes to ring my brother or something. She's like, the other day, and she goes, oh, like, but if he's on site working, like, I don't really want to call him. Like, if he's in the office, that's different. Like, more like, and so she's like, I can check his 360. Like, and she goes, I feel so weird, like voyeuristic, like going like, where are you? Like, you know what I mean? And but like, I mean, my brother now knows where my mum is at all times, which I find it really like, I don't think it's terrible at all. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but at the same time, I'm like, this is kind of weird.
But you also wouldn't want your teenagers, like, significant other or potential significant other knowing that information.
This is the thing. There's a very different of knowing, like, as your insular family knowing each other, like my teenage daughter or son, I want to know where they're traveling to as they're getting to school and whatever. Because as I think I've said previously, like where, my niece has like got on the wrong tram and she's traveling the wrong direction. My brother was able to go, oh shit, she's on the wrong tram. And ring her and go, you're on the wrong one. Get off. I'm coming to you. Like, perfect use of 360, using locations on your phones. Like, when they're still learning how to do those sorts of things and get around themselves as a child or an elderly parent. Like, no, sorry, Mum, you are.
Don't you go talking about my Pat like that.
But as a partner, like kind of going in this level of your relationship, saying
that early on,
I need to know your location
a red flag. Why can't you just go old school and say, hey, text me when you get home safely?
This is it. That's all it needs.
That's all it needs.
As we did like the other night when we were all getting in separate Ubers, like message me when you get home.
Are we fine? Are we good?
We're all good. We're all home, safe in our Ubers. Great. Yeah. That's all you need. You don't need locations turned on. So no, it's a no, peeps.
It's a hard no. Anyway, Paul has actually then gone for a bit of a holiday to Bali. Now, he went for 2 weeks in early to mid-October. He was visiting a friend from the Netherlands who was living in Bali at the time. So this was pre-planned, I think, before he even met or before anything ever sort of really started with Lilie.
Yeah.
They used Snapchat and FaceTime to keep in contact while Paul was there. And
daily FaceTimes from Paul.
Yeah, it was, according to his friend who was there, it was fairly constant contact. Now, while he was over there, Lilie had contact with her ex-boyfriend, and she also met up with somebody on a night out, just a random person she'd met and connected with over the time. Her friend said at the time that made them think that they'd heard of Paul, but it made them think that things with Paul weren't that serious, and maybe Lilie wasn't that into him really, because
I don't know if it made them think that even. I think she had vocalised, and I believe that in front of Paul, they had both vocalised to people they were not exclusive.
Okay.
When Paul was away from Lilie to friends, his friends would say he spoke about her as if she was his girlfriend.
That's right.
But when they were together talking to people about what the relationship was, wording was more around, we're not exclusive. We're just dating,
casually dating.
We're casually dating.
So what does that say to you?
Yeah.
That's interesting that he's saying one thing to people behind Lilie's back, so she doesn't actually know the context of what he's feeling or thinking about the relationship.
But he's telling her one thing. I mean, problem. He should have, if that's what he was thinking, to give her more of a heads up of where things are at, been honest with her and said, oh, I kind of see you as my girlfriend. Can we make the relationship that? So that then she can respond and go, hey, that's not where I'm at, as we've been saying. So maybe we need to cool this off.
Slow
and, maybe this isn't the right, because I'm not there. We're on different pages. Because at this point to her face, she believes they're on the same page.
Yeah, and
that's
what really concerns me, because he's telling her what she wants to hear. He's not being truthful to her.
Or himself in that sense.
Yeah.
I shouldn't give him too much credit.
No, don't give him any credit. On the 15th of October, Paul returned to Australia. Lilie picked him up from the airport, so they'd been in contact enough that was going on.
Yeah.
They did that day each disclose to one another that they'd been intimate with other people. So Paul, while he was in Bali, had a bit of a fling with someone.
Had he though? Is there any proof of that?
His friend says that he did meet someone.
Okay, all right.
But they... and so this prompted a discussion, I think, between them as to where their relationship sat and how they were both feeling about it. And they, according to everyone who was in the know, they decided that their relationship was not exclusive and they were going to keep things fairly casual.
Yeah.
Now, what that says to me is that, I don't know, do you think Lilie was at this point going, oh, there's something here that's not...
I think she was 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like...
I'm having fun.
I don't dislike him. He seems like a nice guy. I like hanging out with him. But do I want to be in a relationship right now? No.
Yeah, okay. That's a fair read. That's a very fair read.
Yep.
Lilie told a friend that Paul was really unhappy with her for being intimate with somebody else while he was away. But he was allowed to do that and not...
That's why I'm wondering whether he said that to sort of me too. That's why I was just I wonder if that
I don't know. His friend did say they
believed it did.
Yeah, they'd met some people, some girls when they were at a bar over there.
Yeah, because I can see both sides of his personality being liking girls liking him and him having an opinion of what, Lilie's still doing. But I can also see him potentially being someone who's like, oh, well, I'm being exclusive to Lilie. She should be too. And I want to hurt her for her not being exclusive to me. You know what I mean? And saying and lying about it.
Kind of
thing. I can see both being possible.
Yeah. Now, I think this was an act of revenge, what he did next for Lilie being intimate with someone else while he was away, despite the fact they weren't exclusive, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Lilie didn't do anything wrong. But he actually showed his friends a photo that he'd captured through Snapchat. So with Snapchat, for anybody who doesn't know, my dad.
Me.
The images don't last for long.
That's, yeah, right.
Okay, and then they disappear technically
But you can,
forever.
like, save them, can't you? Like, you can make them last longer. Is that right?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I don't use Snapchat.
I don't either.
But
I can't stand
what
it.
Paul had done was he actually had 2 phones, and this will come to play a little bit later.
Yes.
But what he'd done is he'd opened Snapchat on one of his phones, and then he'd use the other phone to take a photo of the screen of this intimate photo that Lilie had sent him.
Mm-hmm.
And he then showed that photo to a group of friends, or shared it,
Yes.
not even showed. He actually sent it
Yes.
to a group of friends.
Now, there's no evidence to say that Lilie ever knew about this.
I doubt she knew about it.
No,
I'm
I
certain
categorically
she
think she
didn't
didn't know.
consent to it.
No, I think her friends would have known if she knew. Like, I think she would have been like, "Oh my God, Paul did this to me."
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Her friends all say they had no knowledge of this, so I think that she had no knowledge of it.
Yeah,
which is awful.
Awful. But
It's
it really,
illegal.
it's absolutely illegal. But it goes to show his mentality about the whole thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
We're now at the 19th of October. Paul and Lilie have an argument. It goes for 9 minutes.
Yeah.
It's captured on CCTV. It happens at the school at St Andrews. Apparently, Lilie was annoyed by his work performance that day, so she actually had to. So people overheard this, this argument.
Yes.
It happened, I think, just outside the staff room in a foyer.
Right.
And they were going at it. I mean, the CCTV shows they're having an argument. You can physically tell by the way they're interacting that they're having an argument. But the staff who were in the staff room at the time were like, "Oh, we could bloody hear the whole thing."
Oh, love it.
And she was having a go at him because she was having to pick up the slack. Because they were both doing the same role that day,
Yeah.
she was having to pick up his slack of not doing the things that he was meant to do, and she wasn't happy with that. There were also students who witnessed this, who also say the same thing, that she was not happy with what he was doing, and she was trying to get him to right his wrong, like rectify the fact that he hadn't done those things, to come and help her sort out whatever it was that they needed to sort out. On the 20th of October, so the following day, Lilie and a friend went to a party. So it was a 21st, because we all know the year of your friends turning 21, it's almost a weekly event.
Well, it was back in our day. I don't know if they still even do it. Do they
Oh,
celebrate their
really?
21st like we did?
Oh, really?
I say we.
Kids these days. I bloody loved going to all the 21st.
were the best. They were better than the 18th
Definitely.
because I was the youngest in my. I was way the youngest
Okay.
in my. So I was young at one point. Yeah, I was considerably younger than all my friends at school. So I was always the one that had to have the fake ID to be able to drink at these things that when they did the 18th, or there were certain ones when they went and did like pub crawls and things. Then they'd be like, "Oh shit, am I going to be able to get in everywhere?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but the 21st was like, everyone can participate. There was no issue.
And I also
with
feel
it.
like people put more effort into a 21st.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
as in, they were always at like a good venue, and like there was always like good
Usually drinks were put on
drinks
for
were
you.
provided.
Yeah.
We went to some killer 21st.
Oh yeah, 21st were great.
Bloody
Yeah.
loved them. So anyway, Lilie and her high school friends in particular, they were part of this big group, and they had kept in contact for all of that time.
Yeah.
They were going to all of these 21st. So on the 20th of October, Lilie and one of her friends, they got ready together, and then they went to this party where all of their friendship group were, and part of that friendship group was Lilie's ex-boyfriend.
Yep.
Paul knew about this, like he knew that they were going to this party and that the ex was going to be there, and he recruited one of Lilie's friends and said to him, "Just make sure nothing happens."
Yeah.
Oh dear,
I find that
disgusting.
really they weren't exclusive.
They weren't
She
exclusive.
was honest with him
Yep.
in that sense.
And I have to say that it's actually really not your call, mate. It's not your call.
No.
Lilie's her own person.
Yep.
You can't control her from afar as much as you're trying.
Yeah.
But yeah. Lilie did talk to her ex that night, and she mentioned that she was a bit weirded out by Paul and that she wanted to like have a clean break from him. She was kind of getting a bit of the ick. And I think the fact that he's wanting to control her from a party, that's not okay.
Yeah. I think
and
this
she
was really
obviously
sort
bit
of a
turning
breaking point for her of like, oh, hang on a second, like that's a bit off.
And because for her it was just a casual thing anyway.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, no harm, no foul. We're just going to cut it off here and move on.
And to be really honest with you, I think the way he dealt with it pushed her almost to then seek out her ex-boyfriend more so. Do you know what I mean? As a bit of a psychologically
a retaliatory
thing.
Well,
a bit of retaliation of like, but he can't tell me not to do that, so I'm going to go and do that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I think if he was a sensible person, then yeah, he really pushed her to do that. I think in a sense that he could have had trust in her if their relationship was stable and it was going somewhere. He could have had trust in her to go to that party and know that they were good.
Yes.
He clearly knew they weren't that good to have to say, I don't trust that she's not going to. But I actually think that Lilie kind of went, you know what? I have a good relationship with my ex-boyfriend. I'm allowed to talk to him. And you know what? If I want to make out with him, I'll make out with him anyway. Like, you can't make me do this. I don't like you that much to be that loyal to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not there. And I've told that to you.
Her ex-boyfriend did say that Lilie mentioned that Paul had been becoming a bit more controlling too. So Lilie had identified that. I mean, she wasn't a silly girl.
No.
She really had her head screwed on, and she started to see some behaviour that was obviously quite concerning to her.
Absolutely.
What we know, and this was unbeknownst to Lilie ever, but what we know following the inquest into this whole situation, which we're getting to, but in these days, like after this party, Paul actually began to stalk her. Yes. He made physical contact, or came within physical presence of her. So came like to where she was, where she lived, obviously where she worked. That was unavoidable because they worked in the same place. But when she was at a friend's house, he drove past her friend's house, and they know this because he didn't own his own car. He used these go-get cars, and rentals. They are GPS tracked. They know everywhere you go. They know how long you're there. They know how long the engine's on for. They track every parameter of these cars. And so what they were able to do was match that up with Lilie's phone locations, or just even known locations at the times. And they know that Paul was in her vicinity 7 times over the following, 4 or 5 days. Yeah. And I'll get to a detail of that's really concerning in a minute of what happened on the day. But it's just absolutely horrible. Yeah. He would take photos of where she was at and hide them in like a hidden photos folder within that you needed a pin to get into on his phone as well. Mm-hmm. This is extremely concerning, and to me, an absolutely massive 0 to 100 escalation, or seemingly.
Well, this is the thing. So we're talking on the Friday night, obviously at that party, there is there's a possibility we believe, or from what everyone sort of said, that maybe with all this stuff going on with the ex-boyfriend scenario, that Lilie had said to him that day, I think I want to end this, right? So because he was being so, she was weirded out by him, all those sorts of comments. There was obviously a conversation through that day at some point of we're not on the same page.
We're done.
We're done. Yeah. So that's clearly got to be a catalyst point for all this.
Oh, for sure.
Because then it's the Saturday the 21st of October, the very following day, that evening, when he hires the car for the first time and does this stalking that he goes.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
There is so much NFL on ESPN right now. Monday Night Football, plus pregame and postgame. NFL Live, NFL Primetime. Everything you need to stay on top of every game, every week.
Unbelievable.
And now NFL Network is on the ESPN app. More football, more coverage, more ways to watch. Football's on all season long on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app.
Out for the next few days. What he does in those stalking of incidents is really disturbing. I mean, he sits out the front of the house. He made notes on the phone as well as taking photos of vehicles. But this is the thing where we go, it wasn't just once, we'll say the 7 times he goes and does this, that he was obviously trying to find a pattern of certain cars that were out the front of her house. One of the comments he wrote under there was like, he knew which one was her brother's car, and like, but there was this other car parked next to it, and, so whose car's that one? He was trying to figure out who was at her house with her at all times and who she was around. Just so disturbing.
So disturbing.
But yeah, clearly that 20th of October is a real turning point for him in where this escalates to.
Yeah.
Which is fucked.
So fucked. On the 23rd of October, Lilie has a conversation with a work colleague who was asking her about like how things are going with Paul or what's going on with Paul. And she said to the colleague, look, I've just cut things off. I don't really want to be in a relationship with him, but I'm going to actually have to have another talk to him about it because he's still acting towards me like we're still got something going on. So he hadn't gotten the message from Lilie that, okay, I'm done. I actually want to cut things off cleanly. No harm, like no animosity. Let's just move on. We're work colleagues. Let's just sort of keep it at that. He didn't get that. And so he was still acting towards Lilie. Certainly her colleagues thought they were still seeing each other.
Yeah.
But she said to this particular colleague, I'm going to have another talk to him about the fact that it's kind of over and it's done.
Yeah.
On that day, so on the 23rd of October, so we assume that Lilie did have that conversation with him that day.
Yes.
And then he is then seen on CCTV at 2:08 p.m. in a hardware store called Mitre 10, which is a chain of hardware stores in Australia.
Yes.
He was purchasing duct tape and a fiberglass claw handle hammer.
He actually in the CCTV, you can see him like seeing what the weight of the hammer is and
he's getting them and like bashing them against his hand, not hard, but like feeling the weight of it.
Feeling the weight of it and like rehearsing something.
Yeah.
Fucking awful.
He then returned to St Andrews with a Mitre 10 bag, so they know that the purchase was made.
Yeah.
And the coroner found that he actually placed this hammer, and assuming also the bag with the duct tape in it, into a storeroom in the sports area of St Andrews. He did that day.
So also on the 23rd of October, Paul does something else that's really disturbing.
Yeah.
He sets up a fake Snapchat account using a female's photos, etc., that he knows through hockey. So this...
because he coaches a women's hockey team, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a particular girl from hockey that he was quite friendly with. And he went on Snapchat and created a fake profile from her. Now, it was not up for very long because he did use that account and followed Lilie or whatever. I don't know how Snapchat works.
Well,
but you can see things, I think, of other people's or whatever.
Yeah, you can see the phone number.
Well,
that this is that's account's what created with. Yeah.
So Lilie has seen this person is looking at her Snapchats and clicked on the account or whatever, but she can see that the phone number attached to it is Paul's. So she calls him out. Her and her colleague actually call him out on it. And so within an hour or something of this account being created, it's deleted.
Yeah.
Dickhead. Oh, my God. Like, but that just sort of, what was the point of him creating that? Was that what apparently, according to one of his friends, I believe, a friend who asked Paul about it, he said to him, oh, no, that girl's been stalking me.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Which girl?
The girl at hockey. So he was like trying to make out. I think, so this is the sort of the inference in this is that he created that account to make it look to Lilie like some other girl was that keen on him that she was stalking him.
Okay.
To make her jealous.
See, I thought, so that's how he's justifying it to other people.
Yes.
Because I thought it was a way for him to track her because
100% it was.
Because I think she'd blocked him from his normal Snapchat.
Yes,
account.
it was a way that he could like
keep an eye on
I guess
her.
what he was using it as a double thing in that he was
Yeah,
like I can watch her, but at the same time I can make it look like some other girl is checking her out, going,
and Lilie would be
who
like,
are you?
Fucking great,
Yeah,
go for it.
go for
You
it.
can have him.
Yes, well, no one should. But
No.
anyway, But yeah, I think it was a way of like him kind of going, well, this is my interpretation, and certainly the coroner's report doesn't want to make these kinds of assumptions. But I believe what he was trying to do was make her jealous that there was some other girl in the picture and make it look like that girl was stalking him and checking out this girl and being that intensely into him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, but that didn't last long.
Paul did work his after-hours concierge shift that day, and his colleague said he looked sad and he'd told them that he and Lilie had broken up, so he'd kind of put that out into the ether. He finished that shift at 9 p.m. and went home, but we can see from the Go Get app that he got a car at 9:58 p.m. and drove to Lilie's house and returned the car at 11:16 p.m. So he's gone and potentially sat out the front of her house for about an hour.
Yeah.
Just stalking her that night. Okay. 24th of October.
Oh, yeah.
Paul hired a Go-Get for 3 days on this day, and we don't really know why it was for 3 days. He'd never done that before.
No, because previously, I mean, he literally hired a Go-Get 3 times within a 25-hour period. Like, so he was only hiring them for
an hour
or more,
yep.
like kind of stuff. It wasn't this, like, to then jump to 3 days was significant difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took the car to the train station near Lilie's house, and CCTV shows that Lilie was getting off the train while he was there. How the fuck she knew he was on the train, we don't actually know the answer to that.
No.
You can see on CCTV that he gets out and has a look around after she's kind of gone back to her car. Just terrifying.
Yeah.
He then drove to Diamond Bay Reserve in Vaucluse at 8:05 p.m. He got out of the car. There's a section there where you can't actually see him on the CCTV. Like, the CCTV only covers basically the street. It doesn't cover sort of out onto where the reserve is and where the sort of, then there's cliffs that kind of go down into the ocean.
Yeah.
So you can't sort of see where he goes or what he does when he's there. Is he scouting something out? We don't actually really know. He drove home then.
Did we mention that that's the same spot where he was when he rang his parents with Lilie that day back in early October?
No, but it is.
Yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning, connecting
Definitely.
the two.
Yep.
So this, Diamond Bay Reserve is in Vaucluse.
There's something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. He then drove back home, waited there for about half an hour. Then he gets back in the car and goes to Lilie's house. Then he goes home. Then he goes to Lilie's house again at about 11:36 p.m. and he sits out the front of her house for another hour. So he's back and forth between his house and her house all night, basically, that night.
Yeah, at this point as well, that evening, when he does get home after stalking her, he has a second phone, which we've spoken about. So he has an iPhone 8 and an iPhone 14. The iPhone 14 is his everyday phone that he's using, but at this particular time, he actually downloads and syncs the two so that they both contain all these photos and things that he's been taking on the stalking and things. So we kind of wonder whether this was a time when he was maybe going to get rid of one of these phones.
Okay.
So that he kept all the data from one but get rid of it. So it's interesting as to whether or not he was trying to conceal anything.
Yeah,
but he definitely syncs the two with and only with, I mean, when you sync a phone like that, you can pick and choose what you do sync. So we don't know what
he didn't
go across, because obviously one of them doesn't exist. We don't know where it is.
Unfortunately, we now come to the day that this absolutely horrific crime took place. So this is the 25th of October in 2023.
Yeah.
Lilie went to work, as she always did, at about 7:10 or somewhere around there in the morning. She told a work friend that Paul had called the night before and apologised to her for what he'd said and what he'd done, and that Lilie felt that everything was kind of okay now, that things would settle and it'd be okay. The coroner said that that phone call, she thinks, did take place, and that Paul did call her at 7:06, I think, p.m. the night before.
Yeah.
And that coincided with him being, like, with one of the stalkings that he was doing with her.
Yeah.
So he wasn't sorry. He was just calling her to
He's sitting out in front of her property, like, watching her.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. His flatmate did see him get up that morning, and his flatmate did note that he thought he believed that Paul maybe been crying that morning.
Yeah. They didn't talk to each
No,
other.
of course not. No, bro code. Is that like, I don't know what that is, but yeah, no, he didn't bother to say
Oh,
anything
God, he's
to
been
him.
crying. Fuck, no.
Where can I run to?
Yeah.
No, let's not talk
La, la,
about
la,
our
la, la,
feelings.
la, la, la.
Maybe if you did, boys. Maybe if you did. But yeah, he noted that he was obviously upset. But yeah,
At 9:30, like Sydney time, Paul tried calling his parents in the Netherlands, which would have been 12:30 a.m. there.
yeah,
And I suppose, I mean, his parents didn't answer their phone. Apparently it wasn't anywhere near them at the time. It's not like we sleep with our phones and, you know, you'd get woken up by a phone call. They didn't hear it.
no. But they did. His mum, I believe, later in the day, then tried to call him back. To which he then texted her. He didn't answer when she rang. He texted her and said it was just a butt dial. Sorry about that. Which we don't know whether it truly was, or whether he did try and call his parents. I don't know.
For some
reason.
At 9:39 a.m, Paul transferred $100 to his flatmate with the description electrical. So we assume their electricity bill must have been due. At 11 a.m, Paul left home and went to St Andrews. He got there about 10 past 12. I think he caught public transport into that day, even though he did have the car, didn't he? Because he'd had it for the 72 hours. So I'm not sure why it took him an hour and 10 minutes to get into work.
Yeah.
He elected not to work that night. So he was meant to be on shift as the night shift concierge that night, but he'd arranged with one of his colleagues to swap their shifts.
Right.
So he made an excuse as to why he needed to go in during the day that day. So he wasn't actually required during the day. But, I mean, look, he did so many different shifts. It wouldn't have been unusual to see him around. People didn't necessarily know what his schedule was and when he was meant to be there or whatever.
Yes.
At 12:13 p.m, Lilie and Paul are seen on CCTV chatting in the staff room, and they then left with another colleague and went to Party Warehouse to purchase costumes for a Halloween party that they had scheduled on the 26th of October. Sorry,
which was the following evening. Yeah.
So
on the CCTV, you'll see that the three of them walking and Lilie and Paul, they're talking and smiling and.
Everything seems fine. The colleague who went with them said everything seemed
had
fine.
No reason to think there was any...
nothing out of the ordinary. They all bought costumes, so they got what they went there for, and they all sort of went back to school together. It was, it all seems fine. And you can see the CCTV footage of that interaction and when they're at the Party Warehouse, and it all, looks fine. They put their transactions through and that's that.
Yeah. But at 1:29 p.m. back at the school at St Andrews on CCTV, this is awful.
It's awful.
You can actually see this footage if you really have to. There is CCTV of him doing like a practice run is the best way to describe it.
Well, that's how the coroner describes it.
Yeah. So what you sort of see him rehearsing, there's in this footage where he sort of walks into this bathroom. Like it is, if you watch it, it is kind of, it's repetitive about
and
it. Purposeful. It's not, just like walking as if he would normally wander. He literally sort of almost pauses and then steps in and like starts. It's a rehearsal. It is the best way to describe it.
Yep.
Around the change rooms and things in the sporting centre at the school. So that's really a worry. And that goes on for about 4 minutes, I think, in total on the CCTV, where he sort of goes into the storeroom of
which is where he'd left the hammer in the Mitre 10 bag. Yep. So I'm guessing he's just checking that everything's...
or where everything's in reach of things.
Yep,
I don't know.
where things are, how long it'll take to get from one to the other, that kind of thing.
Yep. At 3:20 p.m, again, there is, I believe CCTV footage of this as well.
Yes, there is.
That another colleague with Lilie and Paul, again, so this is a different colleague again, but still again Paul and Lilie, they walk down to Priceline. Again, Lilie appears to be smiling. They're relaxed with each other. They walk back to school as well. They're seen on the CCTV footage entering back into the school grounds. Nothing untoward here. Like just a normal act that they would
just colleagues
do.
Going to the shops together.
Yeah. So then once they return from that, so at 3:30, Lilie heads off on a bus with the water polo team.
That she coaches.
They go to Auburn for obviously a a match or a training. So her plans were for basically to go to that training session, to come back to St Andrews where she would get changed herself because she had a water polo match that evening as well. So her plan was to get changed at the school and then get to her own game. So, yeah, that leaves basically then she's off the school grounds at 3:30, but known to Paul, no doubt, in the conversations they've had throughout the day, which obviously they've had many, that I'm sure they've plans
spent a lot of time together.
You know, the evening and therefore and onwards has been discussed that he would be aware that she's off onto this trip in the afternoon, but back again to get dressed for her own game later on.
Which wasn't at the school. So she was coming home to get changed, then she had to make her way to her where she was doing her
match.
To her own game.
But yes.
At 4 p.m, he leaves the school and he told a colleague, that he forgot his after-hours uniform. They had to wear a different uniform. Not true, because he'd actually already swapped the shift with another colleague. So he didn't really need that, but he used that as an excuse to go home.
Yeah.
He came back with a backpack. He never entered the storeroom again.
So whilst he was at home, though, he went into his one of his flatmates had like a toolkit. It was like 105 pieces, a super toolkit it was called. And from that toolkit, we know that a hammer is missing.
So this is one of those toolkits, everything has a place, so they can very clearly see that the hammer is missing.
Yeah.
And also the housemate has said that the last time he went into that toolkit, the hammer was present.
Mm-hmm. So somewhere between, it's fairly thought that from what the housemate has said, when he knows that hammer was there last, and now it is not, that it was that day that hammer was removed from that toolkit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he then gets back to St Andrews. This time he drives the go-get car back to the school. And he is seen again on CCTV doing several more practice runs.
Yeah.
So Lilie returns on the school bus after water polo coaching, and she was waiting with her students for them to all be picked up by their parents. And then she was let into the building by a staff member, so somebody else who was there, because all of her belongings were still at the school. So she had her backpack, her jacket, and then obviously all of the stuff that she needed to get changed into for her own water polo game.
Yeah.
Paul met her and walked with her to the staff room, which is where she put down all of her bits and pieces. She hung her backpack on the back of her chair. And Lilie left the staff room 17 seconds later to go to the bathroom to get changed.
But there was a cleaning sign on one of them.
Yeah, so
that Paul had
there was
placed.
A male change room and toilet room, a female one, and then there was a disabled one. And the female one had a cleaning sign blocking it off. So, and it was the timing sort of fit that the cleaners could have been in there.
Yeah. So that meant that she had to she would then choose to go to the disabled toilets, I guess. So Paul had put that sign there. Mm-hmm. Those toilets were not being cleaned at that time.
No.
And so, it put her to the door where on the CCTV he had been practicing his entry to.
Mm-hmm. At 7:14 p.m, CCTV captures Paul with a hammer entering the bathroom that Lilie had previously been seen to go into. So he was seconds behind her. He wasn't very far behind her at all.
No.
There's no CCTV within the toilet, obviously, but what we know is that Paul attacked Lilie in there with a hammer.
No. Oh, my God.
He stayed in that bathroom with her for an hour and 12 minutes. The coroner thinks, and the counsel assisting think that is because he heard the cleaners come through. And they did on CCTV. They did actually come through to clean the bathrooms. Avoided the disabled room because it was locked and it looked like it was in use at the time. So they didn't go in there. So did he then wait a little bit of time after that to make sure the cleaners had done all they needed to do within that sports area and clear out?
Sure, they'd left, but that doesn't explain the time prior to them arriving, though.
No,
because there was a extended period of time where he could have exited and they were not there.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Cozy season is ahead, and you'll be spending way more time inside. Is your home ready? Don't worry. With Wayfair, you can upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Score up to 70% off during their Labor Day clearance on furniture, area rugs, mattresses, and more. Plus, surprise flash deals you can't miss. Whether it's one room or the whole house, Wayfair has pieces for every style and budget.
Shop Wayfair's Labor Day clearance now through September 7th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Not being caught, but he waited.
Yeah.
But in that time, while he was there, he used Lily's phone and texted Jamie, her father, and said in his text message that, so it was from Lily to saying, I think it was like, don't ask why, but can you come and get me from school and pick me up?
Yep.
To which he then did what any father does.
Are you
ask
okay?
why. you know, what's wrong? Are you okay? He tried to call Lily's phone. No response, no answer.
There was a response to his text
message.
that said, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yep, come
quickly.
trouble."
Yeah,
that's all. Come quickly,
yeah.
trouble.
Which I find interesting. Was he trying to cause distress? You know what I mean?
Yes, he was absolutely trying to cause distress.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
At 8:26 p.m, Paul leaves the bathroom. At 8:35, he gets into the go-get and turns it on. He drives to Diamond Bay Reserve and he parks at Chris Bang Court. Now, we know he's been there previously because one of Lily's friends lives there. He knows the access. He's obviously been to Diamond Bay Reserve so many times in the past.
He literally parked at Chris Bang Crescent the night before. Yeah.
So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
This is the back and forth of this really fucking gets me. I just think what a coward. At 9:04 p.m, CCTV shows him getting out of the car and going towards the cliff. Oh my God. So shows him, and again, he goes out of view of the CCTV cameras. Then he's in and out of the car over the next hour. He's in the car, he's doing something, he's out of the car.
On the CCTV that you can see that you can see that he's near the bin and he's over the bin, but there's no evidence showing what he does. I mean, you can infer that he's put something in there, but you don't physically see him do it.
Yep.
The way his body is turned to the camera and the distance of how far it is back, the camera itself, it hides what he's doing.
I think it's more that his back's to it because it is actually quite clear footage.
It's clear footage, but it's the way he's positioned to where the camera is.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know whether that's known, but I don't think he would have known. Would you reckon?
I think he knew.
You think he knew where the camera was?
Well, I don't know if... I don't know there. I certainly think at the school.
Oh, definitely at the school he would have known where cameras were.
So that makes me think... I mean, he didn't care.
No, but in this moment he would have. This is where I guess this sort of bit of it, of like if he did dispose of things, he would have potentially cared maybe about that stuff being found.
Maybe.
Because otherwise you wouldn't be trying to dispose of it, like kind of thing.
True.
But at the same time, that bin was searched.
Yeah.
And nothing was found.
Nothing was found in it.
So I don't know whether he was trying to make out he was putting something in there and then... You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. He was seen on his phone. Like you can see the phone lighting up when he's in the car.
Yeah.
Then he leaves with his back. Like then the next footage you see, he's got a backpack on and he's getting out of the car.
Yeah.
At 9:52 p.m, he transfers $9,100 to each of his flatmates with the description 6 months rent.
Yeah.
At 11:45 p.m, so he's still fucking around for all this time.
But this is it. It was a long time.
He calls 000, which is the Australian emergency number.
Oh, that wasn't until 11:45.
Yeah, 11:45.
Sorry. Yeah.
For 3 minutes, he's on that phone call. He doesn't say who he is.
He refuses. They do ask him, and he refuses to say. I think he says, "I'd like to stay anonymous."
Yep.
But he does say, there is a body at St Andrews, and people should find that before the morning, before people get there.
Before the kids get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he cares so much.
Mm.
Then after that call at 11:59 is the last time he's seen alive on the CCTV. So he gets out of the car again. Now, hats off to the police.
Oh, totally.
I think they have done such a magnificent job in the way all of this played out.
In this bit, from the point of them knowing about this, kind of that phone call, that 000 call.
Yep. To where we get to.
They've done everything they possibly can.
Policing.
They're, gosh, they've missed it by minutes, literally. Like, and it's, But, yeah. So they at 11:52, the police, they get this. So from the call, they can ascertain, yes, there's something, we need to get to St Andrews, but there is also someone else who seems to have called, who is a person of interest, we'll put it at that point, they need to sort of get to. So they put out a CAD job for St Andrews. They also start triangulating the position of the 000 call to find out who this is that's called. So basically that sets off people to and in his phone call he gave specific instructions on where to go, because obviously it's a big school. It can't just say just at St Andrews. He did say, you go in through the foyer and you turn to the left and the sporting centre's off there and she's in the bathroom, that disabled toilet. Yeah. Like, he gives direct instructions on where to find this body. Yeah. So they head straight there. They arrive and find her body at 11:59 p.m, which is fucking awful. At the exact same time, obviously, they're triangulating this call and they do work out where he is. Now, on CCTV at 11:59, you see Paul get out of his vehicle on the CCTV and crossing Crispang Crescent and walking into Diamond Bay Reserve. That's the last we see of him.
Yep.
Now, from all accounts, the police then arrive at Diamond Bay at 12:02, 3 minutes after he is last seen on that CCTV.
Yeah.
And he is nowhere to be seen.
Nope.
So they don't know, like, whether this person at that point in time, they don't know that it's Paul. Like, so they are basically there and going, there's no one here.
Yeah.
But this is where the call's triangulated to. But yeah, missed him by 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I will say from that, clearly Paul didn't even hesitate when he did do what he did.
No. So they found his backpack, which had ID in it, so they were able to find out who this person was.
That happened quite quickly from there.
It also had the iPhone 8, which, as you said, a lot of the data from that had been wiped. They weren't able to get a lot from that.
No.
They did keep searching, so they were looking for him, obviously, and they assumed that maybe he'd taken his own life and jumped off the cliffs there.
They were already connecting dots with this by this stage even.
Dots.
Yeah.
But they called off the search at about 1:45 a.m. because the conditions were just incredibly poor, and they resumed the search at daylight the next day. So it was maybe 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And at 7:40, they found a body at the bottom of the cliffs at Diamond Bay Reserve.
Well, it was actually some tradies who'd been working nearby who spotted it first and called police, and they arrived, and it wasn't easy to get to. It was quite a difficult. I mean,
that's an abseil down.
Yeah, it's all cliff faces. Yeah. I mean, it's a stunning spot of the world, as we said, but it is unfortunately there are spots along there that are well known for people going to and doing this. Unfortunately, because the chances of you surviving are so incredibly zero.
Yes. Just have a look at some photos.
It's
unforgiving terrain.
Entirely. So it's not beach, it's, and those kind of, it's sheer cliff face. Yeah. So, and water, like, obviously right up to the cliff face. So it's pretty horrendous. But yeah, his body was then found there, and they were able to remove his body eventually with a lot of assistance. And he was identified using fingerprints to identify his body.
Should we talk about what happened with Lilie's dad during this time?
Oh,
and her family.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So obviously he's gotten that message to say, can you come and get me? Lilie's mum, Peter, said to him, you've got to go. And he's like, yep. So he grabs his keys and heads down to the school, and he's looking for her. He kind of has a bit of an idea of where to go. He'd visited her at the school before.
But as we say, this was not the school where Lily had attended, so he didn't know the grounds that well. It was his daughter's workplace. Like,
that's right. Like, my mum and dad would kind of know where to go to maybe initiate finding me, which is what he did. So he went to the foyer and he asked somebody who was there, like, oh, have you seen Lily?
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, let's go and have a look. I'll show you where her desk is. And so this person took Jamie over to her desk, and there was her backpack, which had her phone, her keys, her jacket was still there.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this is really, really strange. And so they went looking for her, and they've gone into the sports area. They've looked, well, they think they've looked everywhere, and they can't find her. So it's really concerning for Jamie at the time.
Yeah.
But it's sort of at a point now where they're like, well, what do we do? Like, I can't find her. I don't know where she is. So he's trying to call her. And yeah, it's obviously
very distressing,
fruitless and very
I'm
distressing.
kind of glad though that he didn't find her.
Oh my God,
which is
so
what I
much.
think. I feel like Paul was trying to achieve.
I think so too.
And I don't think I sort of feel like not in that positive way of like him going, oh, at least her family can come and be with her,
it was
you know,
like,
kind of thing. I think it was
fuck
caused
them too.
distress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that he didn't find her.
Me too. But then obviously when the police found her and were able to identify her, which happened very, very quickly, they sort of knew what was going on, thanks to Jamie and Peter.
Yeah.
He then had to go with the police and tell his wife and his son what had happened, which he describes as the most harrowing and awful thing he's ever had to do.
Yeah.
Those two parents, they're very strong, but they are so distraught and just ruined by this. Peter has suffered some really significant health struggles since Lily's death.
Yeah.
Lily's murder. And I'm sure a lot of the stress that's, hasn't helped.
No,
certainly with
absolutely.
her health conditions. So we just wish her all the best. We
Yeah.
wish them all the best. Like they both say we will never get over this, and of course they won't.
I can't even imagine. Losing a child in any circumstances is awful, but losing your daughter in this sort of scenario, because it is dragged out, I think, in media, all those elements as well, but also the fact of that there were coronial inquests and things as well that happen years after the event. It all brings it back again, and you've got to relive it through such a formal process, which you want to happen. I would assume that as a family you would want that.
They did.
But at the same time, it's still equally as distressing each time you relive those things. So I think it stretches your own strength to be able to get through those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it must absolutely cause horrific, trauma for the entire family. I mean, her brother as well,
for her friends, for everyone.
Absolutely. And because you would totally be
family.
like, gosh, were there points of intervention that we could have stepped in?
Well, that would be the point of having an inquest and wanting that
to know and understand that of what could we have done different. I mean,
like even her grandma. I don't know if you've seen her interviewed, but oh my God, her grandma's like, imagine burying your own grandchild. Like that's certainly not the order of the way things are meant to go. And she's devastated. Of course.
Well, I mean, Lily was someone who had so much life to live.
Yes.
I mean, at 21, and she was already,
making the most
of everything. I mean, as we said, she was studying, she was working, she was performing her own, passions in her sports and things. She had every element of her life kind of ticked and, doing all the things that you should in life and living life. And then that to be gone is just so crap.
Awful.
And this piece of shit thinks he has the right to come in and take that away.
Her parents call him the monster. They don't name him by name, which I think is completely fair.
Done. We can do that for the rest of our episode if we like. Yep.
So Lily's postmortem came back that she died of multiple blunt force injuries on the head and neck, which we assume was from the hammer that he was literally seen carrying into that room.
Which it's very curious because we know that he purchased a hammer.
But it's not the one he used.
It's not the one he used.
And he didn't use duct tape.
No, the duct tape has never been recovered.
No, it's never been recovered, but it wasn't on her body when they found her.
But not even the roll itself has been recovered.
No.
We do not know what he did with that. And the hammer that he used was not the one he bought at Mitre 10.
That was actually still found in the storeroom.
It was in the storeroom. Whereas the other hammer we assume, from the housemate's kit, that seems to have gone missing. We know he used a hammer, and there's a hammer missing from his house, and that's never been found again.
No.
The other 2 items that have never been found are Lilie's phone and his iPhone 14.
Yeah.
So as we said, the iPhone 8 was found, which I find really curious. And the other interesting thing that was found with his backpack was a booklet of like vouchers from his ex-girlfriend of like, you know how you do that, like, you know, like a back massage or, you know, like a coffee in bed, you know, kind of stuff, like kind of those little, I'm going to take this voucher and you can fulfill that one for me today.
Yeah.
She had made one of those for him for like an anniversary of theirs, and that was found near his backpack. What an interesting thing to find there.
Yep.
I mean, we can get into his previous relationship.
Do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah.
And then we'll go into the coronial inquest?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. So, so Paul did have for somewhat long-term previous girlfriend, and in the inquest she's only named Freya. It's not her real name. Yep. Okay. So don't go looking her up because you won't know who she is. Freya did obviously participate in the coronial inquest to sort of give some context as to who Paul was. And so they dated, I don't think how long it was now. It was for a reasonable amount of time.
I think it was a couple of years.
It's a couple of years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So in the period of time that they dated, Paul did go back and forth. They did do some long distance relationship.
Because he'd gone back to the Netherlands for some of that time.
Yeah. But on his return at one of those trips to the Netherlands, she did call it off. Now, prior to him leaving to the Netherlands on that trip, things had gotten controlling to the point where, so he, in this relationship, had all of her Snapchat locations and things
from very early on.
Very early on, he had access to that. There was a point where she tried to call off the relationship, and then they were home one day, and randomly she turned around, and there he was at the window.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was living at home with her parents at the time, so this was very noticed by her family.
Well, no. So at the time, only she saw it, but then she alerted her dad.
And this is the thing, because they were all in the same home. So it wasn't as if like she was living separately and no one was aware of this, is what I guess, living in the same home going, oh my God, Dad, he's just rocked up at my window. Like, Dad's got quite distressed as well.
Yeah.
So he has threatened Paul with taking out like an AVO on him, like because he was trying to stalk. Well, he was stalking her. He had every right.
Through a window, like how fucking creepy.
So there's pattern here.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to get at too. So this was Lilie's relationship with him was not unusual in his world, because this was the same pattern he had with the previous relationship. And I think Freya has dodged a bullet.
Well, Freya actually says that in the inquest. Yeah. Part of her testimony was, she actually said, she's like, that shouldn't have been, what happened shouldn't have been Lilie. It should have been me.
Oh, no, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been either of you.
It shouldn't have been either of you. But she does say that, like she said, she feels really guilty because she was in a long-term relationship with him and she could see where it was going, and she felt relief when they did finally break up.
Yeah.
For then Lilie to have such a short relationship with him and for it to end up the way it did, that got her.
Yeah, which I mean, it's an escalation in his behaviours, and we know that psychologically that this first relationship was like a practice run of all of it.
Yep.
And then by the time he's got to Lilie, unfortunately, these things move faster. I mean, the way this Freya described their relationship in the coronial inquest, particular word that stood out was suffocating.
Yep.
So their relationship went on a lot longer than she would have liked it to have 100%. She found him suffocating. And she wasn't the only one who gave testimony around their relationship. Others, her family and friends, also to back her story. And there were things that basically the words that we used to describe their relationship were possessive, and that Paul was demanding and emotionally manipulative. So this was seen by other people that that's who he was as a person in a relationship prior. I mean, I'm not saying that, then, we should have known that about him for the next relationship, because unfortunately this is what happens, that of course she has no relationship with a new girlfriend for her to know.
Didn't even know she existed, or that was even going on necessarily.
No. And even if she took out an AVO, as we say, unless these things we talked about in our Hannah Clark episode come into play, of putting, alerts on certain things, we don't have anywhere to go to see, this person's had previous AVOs or anything, that there's been incidents. So even if they took out an AVO, what effect would it have had on Lily's relationship with him? It wouldn't
the way
have.
things stood then and the way things actually currently stand now, it wouldn't have made any difference. During the inquest also, there was a psychologist who testified about Paul's mental...
Two, I think, actually, yeah.
Actually, there were two. You're absolutely right.
Sorry.
So Professor Sullivan was one of them.
Yeah, and Dr. Katie Seidler.
That's right.
Yeah.
But Professor Sullivan was of the opinion that Paul showed a significant pattern of possessive and controlling behaviour, emotional manipulation, anger and tears, and stalking. There was coercive control present in Paul's previous relationship and in this relationship with Lily, despite it being short in duration. It's interesting. I found it interesting because, we know coercive control can look a little bit different sometimes in different relationships.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment from KQED. Every week, Snap drops you inside someone's biggest decision. The kind of decision you can only make once. With everything on the line, what do you believe? What do you want? And what would you risk to get it? Find out. Tap to listen now to Snap Judgment from KQED on Spotify.
And I think back to Hannah Clark, like a recent episode that we've done where this was definitely a thing, where you've got like the initial love bombing and all of that. That wasn't present in this case. And I think that to me was a significant thing for me to think about when I was looking into this, because I think about coercive control and I'm like, yeah, there's the love bombing phase, there's the isolation phase, but because this was almost like a fast-tracked version of all of this.
To me, and I almost want to put onto a spin of like it's a generational difference in how relationships start.
I think that's a very fair point.
Because I think it's almost an adaptation of coercive control, because he didn't love bomb. He played along with we're casual.
Yeah, we're cool.
We're cool.
Yep.
I don't love bomb. I love bomb in a way that fits the scenario.
Well, he love bombed with the
agree with
Snapchats
her.
and all of that sort of stuff to get her to give him what he wanted.
Yes,
early
it's
on.
still manipulation.
Yes,
it's just a different version
way
of it.
Yeah. So, okay.
The other thing they did find that I found interesting was there was no evidence of psychosis. Nope. So that's important, I think, in this. He was clear-minded when he did this. Yep. He planned it. There was definitely planning. It was premeditated, no question. They didn't find any delusional jealousy, no evidence of personality disorder necessarily. I mean, they weren't able to assess him in person and know him that well.
Yeah. But
from the evidence that was presented in the coronial inquest, both psychologists and the psychiatrists both came to the same conclusion. That was no significant mood disorder, bipolar disorder, no significant impairments, or that he was using substances to, bring in a disorder in terms of that.
Yep.
Any gambling, no psychopathy, and no diagnosable personality disorder.
Yep.
So to me, that is really interesting to think that, if we find that, people are a particular personality disorder and they're the ones who will commit these acts, when it's not.
We said this in the Hannah Clark episode. This can happen to anyone.
Which really is scary.
It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
The coroner stated in her report that, in her findings, that Lily breaking up with Paul was a massive blow to his ego.
Yeah.
That he'd constructed a narrative that he was nonchalant and in control, but deep inside he was very wounded, potentially humiliated that he was not attractive enough to her. There were threats to that narrative of being exposed as someone who was not the person he purported to be.
And this is really key. I think the biggest part of him was he was a compulsive liar.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of came out of this, the biggest, I think, that was the trait that indicated something else might be at play. Because there was a number of things that he lied about significantly.
Yep.
So we're just going back a little that came out from the coronial inquest, which this came out for his parents even, that they weren't aware of any of this. They were under the impression that he was in Australia studying a Bachelor of Teaching at the University of Sydney. Mm-hmm. They to the point where they were funding his enrolment at that university and his life here in in Sydney to do that study. So they were, I mean, as we said, they were a wealthy family in that they were able to afford, him going to these prestigious secondary college or schools.
Yeah.
So yes, they could afford it, but they were under the impression this is what he was doing, working towards his future in that way. The police then investigated this and found him to be not enrolled, not only in the University of Sydney, he was not enrolled in any university in Australia here studying that degree.
Or any degree.
No. So to the point where he lied about this not just to his parents but also his friends, that he would actually pretend as if they were like, but he was working on his uni assignment. Like he would make out and pretend that he was writing assignments for uni.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
So where was that money going? Well, that we don't know. It doesn't actually get brought up in the coronial inquest.
I mean, he had $20,000 he gave to his housemates. Like, did he just keep the money? He must have.
Well, no, but they were paying that anyway because that was to live.
But he had that in advance. So they must have given him, a lump sum of money to come out here?
Oh, okay, no. So they were paying his monthly tuition, like kind of thing, as in like to him then pay the uni.
I know.
So he was obviously banking that up.
He must have been banking it.
Yeah, but like, so he wasn't like then splurging and kind of using the money to say go buy a nicer car because he didn't even have a car. He didn't. That's what I'm saying is that this money he obviously just had it in a bank. He wasn't doing it to have a lifestyle of, someone wealthy.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's not like he was then using the money for something else.
Flash it round. Love bomb a girl. Like he wasn't using the money in that way to make himself look that.
No.
It's very interesting. The other thing that was a massive lie.
The visas?
The visas. So he was out here on holiday working visas. He was actually on his third of those at this point and was due to leave on the 9th of February. He would have had to have left the country on his third working holiday visa.
Yeah, and you can only have three.
Yeah. That meant that at that point, so this is where I think this is a bit of why this moves so quickly for him. By no means am I saying that he was like, I have to
get married,
right? Yeah. I just think this gave him a deadline of needing to have her in a relationship of sorts that he could go home to the Netherlands and still have a girlfriend even. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
It sounds weird to us, but
yes.
I think to him that was obviously very important.
That was important to him for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because it validated him. Yeah. That's why.
I think it gave him this, like, how am I going to get back to Australia? I think there was an undertone of panic of what happens next.
Well, I think that's so true in so many facets because not only that, he was then meant to be graduating from this degree he was never enrolled in.
Yeah.
Things were coming to an end.
It was all going to implode on him, like really very much so.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing with these visas being a lie, so this information of him having to leave after his third visa was not something that his friends were even told about. He never said to them, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do after the 9th of Feb? Like it was, we're talking here, we're getting late October. It's kind of getting close to Feb. You'd be starting to think about what your next, move would be. But that was not conversations around his friends.
Well, they assumed he was here on like a study visa.
Well, this was the thing. They believed he was here on a student visa.
Student visa, thank you, yep.
Not a working visa because the working visa he was even on had been forged. Mm-hmm. He legit had the working visa. Yeah. He had forged documents to get that visa. Because
so what
he shouldn't have to have?
No, he did have to.
Did he?
Yeah, he did have to because...
He was working here.
Yeah, but he hadn't done his rural placements.
Oh, right.
So, Yeah.
Which he did originally, right?
Which he did originally, and that's what he used as to forge it. So
Yeah.
the faculty member from St Andrews who'd signed off on his rural, in that first visa, which he did legitimately, that was correct, what he was doing there, because he was studying at St Andrews in year 12 at the time. And then when he was working on that working visa, that first one, he went and did that farm stay, and he was a farmhand. You know, even that was a bit of a fudge. And the school says, like, I mean, he was doing some of that, but it was mostly paid other work.
It was like he was doing the fruit picking that you're supposed to be doing, to get that visa.
So it was a bit fudged, but then it was 2020 and it was COVID, and everyone was just trying to get by. Whatever. But then what he did was he then used the documentation that was legitimate from that first visa application, which lasts for 2 years, is it? He's then used that, he's forged the same documentation to then apply for the second and third ones, which were never right. And during the coronial inquest, the faculty member who'd signed off and given him
the
original was like, that's not me. I've never signed that again. So he was here on off the back of two illegitimate visas. The second of those illegitimate visas was due to expire.
So that ploy of what he was using to be here was going to die.
Run out.
9th of Feb.
Yeah.
I do think that was probably an underlying factor in all this too.
I agree.
That he was like, well, God, how am I going to do my lies? Or am I going to come? Yeah.
This is a case of, gendered violence, obviously, and violence against, it's femicide. It's just, absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
Professor Fitzgibbon described the case as an example of gendered violence within the context of intimate partner violence, homicide, due to there being a male perpetrator, a female victim, and the violence having occurred following the end of a relationship. They said that Professor Fitzgibbon referred to Jane Monckton Smith's 8-step timeline to intimate partner femicide, and that is as follows. The pre-relationship, tick. The early relationship, the actual relationship itself, which existed in his mind but not in Lilie's.
Yes.
The trigger event, which we assume was her cutting things off and breaking up with him. The escalation, so that's him perpetrating the stalking against her, that she was even unaware of it. Change in thinking, the planning, which we can see in absolute clarity, and then the homicide itself. So, yeah, it's horrific, but unfortunately a well-documented series of events when it comes to femicide, and the fact that we even know that, I think, is absolutely horrific.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the thing is that Lilie didn't even know any of it. Most of it was even going on.
No.
It's just, what do you do?
The other really disturbing element of this is that at the time, and I couldn't figure out, I don't believe it is now, but at the time, Lilie and Paul were the youngest intimate partner homicide-suicide case in the data set of that.
Yep. I think you're right. I don't think it is anymore, but I believe at the time that was absolutely correct.
And particularly the fact of how short their relationship was when in the context of all that.
And I think it made people, I think it made the general public think very differently about intimate partner violence due to their age, and the way they look and all of that stuff. I mean, they were both good-looking people. I mean, Lilie is absolutely stunning. I think it really made people think about things in a different context, like make the public think about things in a different context, because they were young, they were vibrant, they had so much going on, and it can still happen to you.
Yeah. The other significant thing about it that I think really brought, the public kind of going, wow, this is a whole thing, that there had been no physical violence in this relationship prior. So the fact that this went from, an unrequited love kind of style of, interaction that started, something, didn't go, the girl rejected and said, no, I'm not really into this. And to then escalate to, I murder you. I mean, in a short space of time and everything, and there'd be no prior physical.
Ego was.
He didn't, because in Freya's relationship, I didn't actually mention that at the time, the only physical slight bit of violence in their relationship was a moment where I think he punched like a branch of a tree next to her head, and his comment to her was that he'd punched that because he couldn't punch the thing he actually wanted to.
Yeah, disgusting.
So that was a little glimpse into where he had that violence was brewing. The rage was there. But, other than that, there was absolutely none of that within Lilie and his relationship. But it was so short too. So we don't know if like, say, she had been more of a participant in the relationship.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I dare say the same outcome would have occurred eventually.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So should we get on to like a little bit about his upbringing? There's not a whole lot of information out there.
Yeah. And his
parents and their engagement in all of this.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof is probably the better way to put it. Because there's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
But a little bit. Yeah.
I find the fact, so his parents elected not to participate in the coronial inquest.
Well, they didn't. It's not that they didn't participate at all. They did submit a family statement.
Yeah, that's all.
But that is all.
Yeah.
What interestingly, and I found this bit of information in a couple of places, but not everywhere, and so I don't know the exact
origin of it or whatever.
Legitimacy exactly how legitimate it is.
Okay.
But if it was more, it was in more than one place. That the family, his parents had at some point, whether this, because you can't find the statement anywhere.
No, you can't.
It's only
it
referred
was
to, but it's not
publicly
available transcript of it anywhere.
Yep.
So I don't know if it was in the statement that this was said or whether it's something with it, because they were interviewed as well. So, and they did participate in an interview with the police. But they have inferred at a point in some of this that they had evidence to show a deterioration in his mental health over sort of the 2-year period build up to this occurring.
I've seen that too.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I do believe that that they have said that.
Yeah, agree.
But they have refused to provide said evidence.
Yes.
And I find that really...
Me too.
If you want to defend your son, show it. Even if you don't want to necessarily defend him, because I get that too from a parent's perspective, that you don't want. I mean, I think
they don't want to make an excuse for
think about
what
it.
he's
This was
done.
my child. That if they did that, I'm still their parent, and I still would love them. But it would be look, he should have all the knowledge of what.
I find the fact that they haven't been forthcoming and the fact that they didn't come and attend the inquest.
Yeah,
I find that evasive.
Yeah.
And I guess your son's perpetrated this horrific crime and that would be a really hard thing to accept, but I think it would have been the right thing for them to do, to come and provide as much information as they could so that recommendations can be made that may help the next person who's in this situation. So for me, the fact that they are evasive, I think they're part of the problem. I know they provided a statement. As you said, we don't know what's in that statement. I believe I've seen it described as brief, brief statement.
Right, okay.
So maybe they've just given the context that they want to give, or given the information they want to give, and maybe not all of it.
The only thing that was referred to specifically in the coroner's inquest report was that they definitely did say they loved their son, and that they never apologised.
No.
There was not that. I shouldn't say they never did. We don't know if that was in there at some point.
Sure.
For sure, but it's never been publicly said. If it is, we don't know then if privately they have apologised in some way to Lilie's family, if there's been any kind of reach out to that. I mean, I could only hope from Lilie's family's perspective that, I would hope that would be the case.
I don't even know that I'd want to hear from them.
Because I don't know. I would be open to it, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, if that's what, to think that child, that person's parents can say, I love my son, but I don't condone what he's done. I would be open to hearing that from his parents. Yep. I'd want to hear that if that was the case, because I don't know then, because otherwise I'm blaming them because they're still on the planet. You know what I mean? I think I would still be.
I feel like that's where I would go.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I'd be wanting to like have forgiveness where I could have forgiveness because I couldn't forgive him ever. So if I don't want to carry the blaming it onto the parents as well, to take away some of that from yourself too.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that, honestly.
It's awful because the other part of this that I found really intriguing, and we don't know how what other people's culture of this is, what other people's, I don't know, connection to this is, but they never repatriated his body to the Netherlands.
No.
And it was here they instead had him cremated here in Australia and his ashes scattered in Sydney.
I know. I think to me that is so off. Like what? Okay. I guess it's their right to do whatever they want, but I feel like that's almost re-traumatizing. Like the fact that his body is around them in Sydney when he's already, like, to me that's more of that.
That's exactly how I felt about it, like from Lily's family's perspective.
Yes,
it's like keeping him around.
Yes.
You can take him back to the Netherlands, thanks.
Okay, fair enough. Have him cremated here, whatever. I don't care about that.
Whether you cremate him here or cremate him there, that I have no issue.
Ashes, whatever. I don't care about that.
No, that does not bother me in the slightest.
I cannot believe they scattered his ashes in Australia.
What I could not find whether or not they came out here and scattered his ashes, or did they have someone else do that? And I think makes a big difference in it too.
I know they did come here after he died, but I don't know whether they were still here because his body would have been with the coroner for a while.
Period of time for sure.
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
If they scattered his ashes here, then that's really fucked up.
But if they did not and they said someone else do it, I find that even more gross. Honestly. Yeah. Because that to me is just separating yourself
all of it.
altogether.
Actually, regardless, it actually doesn't matter either way. To me, no.
It doesn't. I mean, look, my personal, and everyone is so different with this.
I know.
I am someone who if you want to scatter someone's ashes, I have no issue. People scatter people's ashes, go for it.
Yeah.
But I'd want it to be somewhere where I could go to.
Yep.
So people who scatter ashes in another country, and I mean like all of those ashes, like I understand that, that's a special place to my dad, my relative, whatever, and you scatter some ashes in that space in in Italy, say, and you live in Australia, but they had a really strong connection there. They spent summers there. I don't know. Some of their ashes there, but some of their ashes elsewhere, where you can go. Because to me, that's where they are. That's why you've chosen to scatter their ashes there. It's somewhere important to that person that you want to be with them when you're there.
Yep.
That's how I feel about it. I know everyone has their own feeling about it. So to then have scattered your son's ashes entirely in another country means you're never visiting him.
Yeah, weird.
I find that. So then in context is I think where I'm heading with this is that in context of his upbringing, yes, he definitely made phone calls to them. We know that he made calls up to this point of them leaving. He sent them photos. We know that in relation to Lily, that they sent connection. There was communication. Mm-hmm. But I just guess I query how he was brought up with, how much love was in that household.
So I think that too. And the thing that makes me think that, and I'm sure you feel the same way, is the fact that they left their 17-year-old just turned 18-year-old in Australia and moved back to the Netherlands and left him here to finish his studies. Why didn't they stay for another...
Mum's, say it was dad's work or whatever, and mum stay a bit longer and dad has to go back to the Netherlands to continue work.
Or left him here on his own like an 18-year-old boy. Who,
and they were clearly
we all know
not
18-year-old boys are hopeless.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's not that notwithstanding.
No.
I just... As a mother, I really don't think I could do that.
No,
and leave my
kid
to finish off VCE and exams and all of that without
family.
Support. Yeah,
which I feel like the school really stepped in there for him.
They did.
Which I really rate. I'm really impressed with them as a community. Yes. Obviously saw this and kind of went,
let's step in here.
Support him there.
Yeah.
Because that I find interesting. Yeah. And look, each to their own. But it seems to me that is a little bit why we've ended up here. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And I know the coroner's report very much says that they can't make those kind of calls.
No.
And this is just an opinion from us. Yep. Say that outright. This is not something that the coroner came to conclusions on at all. But it raises questions, I feel.
It does. I'll just read some of the findings. So the coroner was Teresa O'Sullivan, and she said in her findings, I've just summarised a couple of the bits that she's written, but one of the things she said was the preparation, as in of this murder, was calculated and was not a momentary loss of control. It was a premeditated killing. In her recommendations, she said there was an urgent need to address the use of emerging forms of technology in coercive control, looking at specifically talking about
Legislation and
Snapchat.
stuff and things like that need to follow, yeah.
Yeah, as well as tackling technology-facilitated abuse, there was a need to educate 16 to 24-year-olds and young men in particular about unacceptable behaviour. I am of the view that there are lessons to be learned from this tragic case. In my view, the totality of all the evidence allows me to make the finding that Lilie's death occurred in the context of domestic violence perpetrated by Paul. Lilie's decision to end the relationship acted as a catalyst for a marked escalation in controlling abusive and coercive behaviours, culminating in the fatal violence. Now, in reading some commentary around this, I think the coroner's nailed it on the head. But in reading some commentary around this, I read an opinion piece, I think it was in The Guardian, and the reporter was saying that this out of character...
Oh, yes.
Which I found this absolutely fascinating, and it is not something I had considered in this context before.
Yeah, I love what the coroner said about this to the media,
Yep.
and saying that they need to really be cautioned around using that term, regardless of the fact that these are friends of his that are using these, saying it. It shouldn't be put into media and publicly used to describe people. And it links to, at the moment, we're currently having conversations here where we're removing the rights of having character witnesses for men and who are not necessarily men, women can be too, but that they're being charged with rape, say. That it's this whole idea that, you can be a good bloke, but this is the thing. They could be coaches. They could be, successful at work. They can be polite to friends, yet in their own relationships and their intimate relationships specifically, that's not who they are.
And that's often the way these things go. So it's actually not what the coroner was stating, and what this reporter was also discussing in this piece was that this is not actually out of character, and to classify it as that is a misnomer.
Yep.
And it is actually detrimental to the people within these relationships and others trying to identify these things. And it definitely lessens the severity or the way that we look at it, as well as people reading these pieces.
Especially in this scenario, what it does is it makes it look to the public, I think, as if these men just snap.
Yep. And that is the coroner made such a point to say no. And this wasn't out of character for Paul.
This is how he acted in a previous relationship.
That's right. This was a well-established character of his.
But he just didn't show it to others. He showed this to his intimate partner. And by using these terms, we are really dishonouring these females' experiences in their relationships with these people. And honestly, this is their true character. This is what their character is.
Yes,
the out of character is how they're behaving in their workplaces and their sports and things like that.
Yes.
That's them putting on their mask.
Yes.
And we have to acknowledge that more.
Yep, agreed. That really floored me.
Yeah.
Because I actually had not thought about that in that way. So, yeah, you learn something new every day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think we learn a lot about when we're researching these cases and looking into them. As always, we just want to remember Lilie. We want everyone to know her name and, the beautiful, successful, vibrant young woman that she was, and everything that she's missed out on because she died at the hands of a violent perpetrator. It's unfathomable. It's not okay.
No.
So we feel for Lilie's family and her beautiful group of friends and everybody who loved her.
Yep. Thinking of all of you, that's awful what they've had to go through and what they continue to go through now.
Yeah.
Knowing of all the things of what she should have been doing now.
That's it.
And where she could have been. It sucks. And at the end of the day, I think the one thing I think that stands out with this as well that we can walk away with of like a learning from this is do not allow Snapchat with your locations or any other app and things with a new partner. And even when You know, if you're in a relationship with someone, you have the right to say, no, you don't need to know where I am every minute of the day. That is not you being secretive. That is, you have the right to be able to be in a place and other people not know. Just, you know.
Do whatever you want.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Please know that you can say no. That is not an affectionate thing for someone to be asking of you.
And if they care that much, send them a text when you get home.
Yep. But there's other ways around it.
There's ways around it.
Yep.
I think that's a good note to end on.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us again.
Yeah.
We absolutely love doing this every week. So if you would like to join us for an extra episode every month, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/2crimebesties. Keep the comments coming. We love them. And we love you guys for listening. Thank you.
Yes. Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
I'm Glenn Washington, host of Snap Judgment from KQED. Every week, Snap drops you inside someone's biggest decision. The kind of decision you can only make once. With everything on the line, what do you believe? What do you want? And what would you risk to get it? Find out. Tap to listen now to Snap Judgment from KQED on Spotify.